Oh, it's really exciting. I think that that's just like one of the best feelings is that we're, doing something that hasn't been done before in Gonzaga history.
Gonzaga seniors Leah Michalski and Paul Kanelopoulos are making history. They're at the National Debate Tournament, and they're not alone. They're joined by freshmen Alexis Costin and Jordan Newton. The NDT kicks off with a ceremony that everyone attends to hear inspirational speeches.
It's the most exciting 6-day stretch of the year.
And see awards get handed out. But if you're really good, you don't have to just watch. Leah and Paul are that good.
Gonzaga University, Paul Kanelopoulos and Leah Michalski.
They're ranked 4th in the country, which is a Gonzaga first. Gonzaga's debate coach Glenn Frappier doesn't sit idle during the ceremony either. He was awarded the Zig Mueller Award for the Best Coach of the Year. Unfortunately, getting an award isn't enough here at the NDT. Now you have to prove how good you are. The day starts early with breakfast in the ballroom. The main course is some prep work with a side of food. Teams are getting ready for the first announcements, telling them who and where they'll be debating. Right when they hear their name along with the competition, they hurry off to prepare for their opponent.
The preparation actually starts weeks, months in advance. We create a list of all of the arguments that other schools make and watch videos to see how other schools argue. And we have meetings to develop strategies of how to counter them. And then we'll actually give practice speeches to prepare us for the speeches that we're going to give in the tournaments.
Leah and Paul are going up against Missouri State. Before debating, they meet with their coaches to go over some strategies. Then, it's showtime. If you've never debated before, here's the breakdown. There are two sides, the affirmative and the negative. In this case, Leah and Paul are the affirmative. When they speak really fast, they're laying out as many new arguments as they can, supporting ones that are already made, and saying why the other side isn't right. They also have cross-examination, where they're asking about arguments their opponents already made.
You don't have a card that talks about anything having to do with the Magnitsky bill.
Now the first round's over, Leah and Paul took the win in a 3-0 decision. Meanwhile, Alexis and Jordan lost to George Mason University. Day 1 of prelims comes to an end. Alexis and Jordan wrap up the day with an 0-3 record, while Leah and Paul end with 3-0. Day 2 of prelims is the same process as Friday. Teams await their announcements and then head off to prepare. While the debaters get a full night of sleep, their coaching staff wasn't as lucky. Each night of the tournament, the members of Gonzaga's coaching staff are up late, preparing material and getting new evidence to back it up. That preparation allows the debaters to focus on performing.
It makes a big difference, to know that I don't have to carry the whole load of research on my own, and that my teammates and my coaches would be willing to do something like stay up all night on the internet looking for evidence to help us. That just, not only does it make you more confident because you're more prepared, but it makes you want to win even more because you know that other people have been putting effort into helping you succeed.
Our coaching staff are all just doing their part to make sure that we have all of the materials we need, and just the morale boosting aspect. They're some of my, now after 5 years, they're really good friends to me, and so they are calming me down while waiting in these 2 hours to get decisions for debates.
Leah and Paul are 4-0 heading into the 5th round. They're looking for win number 5. That would automatically advance them to the elimination rounds. Alexis and Jordan have lost 4 rounds, so they can't continue on, but they do get to finish out all 8 rounds of prelims. Leah and Paul's next debates against Harvard and Northwestern don't go as well as they hoped, and they end the day with a 4-2 record. But they don't panic because they've been here before. Leah and Paul have been debate partners for 3 years, and they've appeared at the NDT every single year that they've been partners. Debating takes up a lot of time, and when you spend 50 hours a week with someone, you better hope you get along.
We mostly do everything together, I'd say.
But they're more than a team. They're roommates and good friends who basically share the same brain.
I don't even need to talk to her about what I'm going to do because she knows I'm going to do it, and vice versa. So there's communication patterns and relationships that make us successful independent of just our skill as debaters.
I think what makes Paul and I good partners is that we sort of finish each other's sentences. We have a real sense of teamwork. He helps me with my speeches. I help him and guide him with his. And so I think that we just sort of play off of each other. We're both really focused, and that's another thing hard work. We always get the task at hand done, and I think that that's been really helpful, especially here.
Paul says it's that teamwork that got them here to the NDT.
Well, each of us may not be the most talented debater in the country. The bonds makes the sum greater than all of its parts.
At the end of this weekend, regardless of how they do, Leah and Paul will no longer be debate partners, but they will be forever friends.
It's really emotional. I mean, ending of the career is emotional for anyone, and Paul and I are going to continue to be friends, obviously, after graduation, but this is, like I said, a very unique experience, and so knowing that this is our last tournament, I think, is making us appreciate the fun we have debating together and the time we have together, and I think that that's something I'll definitely miss.
Following 2 hard losses yesterday, Leah and Paul head into the last day of prelims. And they just clinched their spot to tonight's first elimination round. Leah and Paul were ecstatic, but it only lasted a moment.
I was really excited that we were going to be in the eliminations, but then immediately I was like, well, we have to get seeding now, we have to win the next one, then the next one, and then just sort of keep going. So I was excited for a second, but then after that I just sort of was like, I need to get my head back down and keep doing research, otherwise we're going to be only in for one more debate.
It's time for the elimination round. Leah and Paul will go up against the University of Michigan. It's the only first-round debate between 2 top 10 schools. In case this situation wasn't hard enough, Leah's competition is her good friend, who is also a senior. That means the losing team's debating career will be over. You wouldn't know their relationship during the competition, but the second it's over, there's no doubt how close they are. Because both teams are made up of seniors, the judges don't want to get anything wrong, and the decision takes 2 hours. Finally, the decision's announced. Gonzaga takes the win, but it's bittersweet for Leah.
For seniors at the National Debate Tournament, there is no other feeling than knowing that you could have just had your last debate. There was just a constant, feeling in the pit of my stomach of that could have just been it. And so I really sympathize with Maria. Losing your last debate is tough, but I was happy because it meant that we live to debate another day.
The final day has come. There's only 16 teams remaining. And like an NCAA basketball bracket, 1 loss and you're done. Gonzaga's going up against Liberty. Leah and Paul traded in their dresses and ties for their Gonzaga jerseys.
It's an honor to represent Gonzaga here, especially being ranked 4th in the country.
From early on in their debate careers at Gonzaga, they learned that they're representing more than just Leah and Paul.
I think my favorite thing about the Gonzaga debate team is there's a real emphasis on family and community. So the first thing that Glenn told us, or when I walked in the team, was that when one of us wins, we all win. When one of us loses, we all lose.
When I became a coach and I kind of looked at the landscape of teams out there and who did really well and why do they do really well, I found really a common theme among the most successful, really not just college debate programs, but college teams that compete in anything out there, is that they all work together and they're all working towards the same common goal. And we have a same goal every year, which is to win a national championship. That's what we do this for.
Even the freshmen recognize the teamwork that goes into Gonzaga debate, and they pull their weight.
And they were up all of last night doing work for us. And even though that they did not have a very successful NDT, they knew that they kind of had to, if we all win as a team, we lose as a team. And so they had to stay up and make their contribution and do some work. And they're busting their butts, running around, getting intel from other squads, making sure that we know what's going on. And so they're completely great.
When I win, I feel like I'm part of a team effort to win, not just individual success.
The Jesuit values that Gonzaga holds has helped Paul grow academically, spiritually, and personally.
It taught me to be more active in the community and give back all of the things that my education and debate experience has brought me.
The education that Gonzaga offers has also helped him grow in debate.
They fit together very well because my professors all encourage me to be very active and think critically, while debate gives me the tools to be able to do that. So there's a feedback. I learn lessons in debate that helps me in the classroom. I learn lessons in the classroom and that helps me in debate.
And in Gonzaga debate, you get to spend a lot of one-on-one time with the coaches.
A lot of the other big schools like Harvard or schools like Northwestern have giant squads. We don't have a giant squad. We have a total of maybe 10 debaters, and so it really gives you some attention that you might not get at the other teams.
I really do care a lot about the students, obviously. But I work them real hard, and I have incredibly high expectations for them. The ones that stay around for 4 years and actualize a lot of that potential that they have, they look back and with incredibly glowing reviews, I think, about their time at GU as well as on our team.
Whatever Gonzaga has, it's working for Lee and Paul. Gonzaga just beat Liberty, and they're moving on.
This is the farthest we've ever gone, making it to the Elite Eight. I really feel like we have a chance to win the whole thing, so I'm pretty excited.
There's only 8 teams remaining, and now it's do or die against Wichita State. Both teams are comprised of seniors, so the decision takes forever.
The decision is 5-0.
Gonzaga's moving on to the Final Four. Lee and Paul are going up against top-seeded Northwestern. It's packed. More than 50 people came out to see this tough debate. And now, it's waiting time. For a long time. 2 hours later, the judges have their decision.
The decision is a 3-2 decision for the negative.
Leah and Paul's debating careers are over. The applause for Gonzaga lasted more than 2 minutes, and cheers rang out for the pair. The judges explained their decisions, and when it's all over, Lee and Paul joined their coaches to reminisce over their Gonzaga careers.
I passed everything that I thought I could ever do in debate.
Although it's time to pass the torch, Lee and Paul have the memories of the NDT, and they'll always remain the first team from Gonzaga to make it to the Final Four. Gonzaga Debate is always looking for the next team to make it even further.
So that's certainly the single trait I feel that across the board these kids share, is that dedication and commitment to hard work and really doing what you've got to do to be the best at something that you really love.